In this video, I'm going to show you briefly how to add in a fake Fresnel reflection using the sampler info node in Maya. This can be useful in many situations. Now I'm using Maya 2012 with VRay as my render engine. Let me bring over my hypershade and create a VRay material. So let's rename this so that we can identify it later on. So let's call it sampler info grad. Let's create a sampler info node. Just type in sampler and there should be it. And let's also create a ramp. That's our gradient ramp. Let's bring all of them into view. Let's go over to our gradient ramp and let's make sure the type is a V ramp, and let's choose the topmost color and make it black. We don't need the middle color for now, so let's get rid of that, and the bottom color I'm going to make it full white. So the top is full black and the bottom is full white. Now select your sampler info node and middle mouse drag and drop onto the ramp. Now choose the other option and connect the facing ratio from the sampler info to the V coordinate of the ramp. Once you're done, hit close. Let's head over to the sampler info, that's our shader. For now, let's make the diffuse completely black. And let's plug in our ramp into the reflection color. You can middle mouse drag and it gets connected. Now as you can quickly see that our reflection, we are getting a fake Fresnel reflection. The black area is where there won't be any reflections, and you can see the checkerboard pattern being reflected onto the sides. Now in order to quickly change the reflection, I just go back into my ramp, and if I just change where my white and black points are in the ramp, your Fresnel reflection will tend to change. Let's move the white point up, so we are increasing the reflection. If I move my black point down, I'm decreasing it. Alright, so this is a quick way by which you can fake Fresnel reflection. So let me pause the video for a moment while I create a small example for you. Alright, so let me open up my hypershade again and let's create a simple shader. So first of all, I have a base diffuse shader in which I have plugged in a texture map into the diffuse color, and in the texture map under the attributes I have added a VRay attribute called as texture input gamma. Underneath I have a base reflection shader. Now in this shader I'm changing the diffuse color to black, and in the reflection color I'm adding a reflection texture map. And of course I have the sampler info shader which we just created. Now as you can notice, we have three different shaders here and a VRay blend material. So in that, let me make our diffuse shader as the base material and click additive mode on. As the coat material 0, let me add the base reflections, and as coat material 1, let me add the sampler info grad. Alright, so let's do a quick render test. Let me just create a sphere and assign this material back onto the sphere. Right click and assign material to selection, and let's hit the render button. As you can see, this is our sphere with both our reflection maps coming on top of it. Actually reflection layers, that's what I should be saying. Let me bring back my hypershade, and in the VRay blend material, let me turn off the blend amount, that is make it completely black for the sampler info so it won't be seen. So let me hit render again. Now what I see is that my base reflection shader has too much of glossiness. So let me go in there and reduce the reflection glossiness to, let's say, somewhere about there. Alright, let's add in a slight amount of anisotropy and change my refraction IOR to say 2.3. Let's move that out of the way and hit render. There you go. Now let's bring back our hypershade, and in my VRay blend material, let me again enable our sampler info grad. So let me click on the amount, the color, and let's just make the value 0.5. That's 50% gray. And let's hit render again. And there you go. You have two different layers of reflection. The first layer of reflection, which is all over our sphere, that's our base coat, that's our coat material 0, which is the base reflection shader, and the sampler info grad is just adding a layer of fake Fresnel reflections on top of it. There's one more thing which you can do here. If you go into the sampler info node, and let's go back to the reflection color, and if I go to my white color and increase it up or down, you can always change it the way it looks. That's the amount of reflection as we saw in the previous video. Let me take my black point down, reduce the reflection as you can see here, and render again. Alright, so let's head back to the reflection color, and let's try adding in a bit of color into our reflection, that is tinting our reflections. So in the white color, I'm keeping the value as 1, and I'm making, let's add in a red color with full saturation. And now when I hit render, only the Fresnel reflections, that's our fake Fresnel reflections coming from the sampler info node, are tinted red. Alright, so this was a quick example of using the sampler info node to create in fake Fresnel reflections. Thanks for watching.